I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, September 22nd, and I want to congratulate first and foremost Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Gina Smiley. They're feeder flash members. They've been dating each other forever. They got married on Monday night out in Virginia. Wish them the very best. Brought to you in part by Sweet Pro, the right ingredients in the right block. Sweet Pro blocks boost fertility, improve herd health, and allow calves to gain more pounds on pasture. Your trade markets were down hard on Monday, and sometimes that just happens. We start the week off, and for some reason or another, maybe it happens on Wall Street, maybe it's on Wacker Drive in Chicago. We don't know why this happens, but ever so often we'll open the week on a Monday, and almost every publicly traded market is down hard. Well, this was one of those Mondays, and for the most part, it took your cattle futures down too. Not completely on your feeder cattle, but for the most part, it took your cattle futures down pretty hard. But everything was down. I mean, corn was down 8 3/4 cents. We can't really understand why that happens. It was easy for cattle futures to go down because they were propped up on technicals. And now the technical people say the technicals show that it might fall now. I don't know how you justify squiggly lines on a graph, but somehow they do. But your calves are dominating your cash markets. If you notice, Joplin Regional Stockyards on Monday on 5,700 head, you can kind of see they normally have more heavier cattle than they do lightweight cattle, even though they do get a lot of calves there. But on Monday's sale in Joplin, the feeder cattle weighing over 600 pounds made up 47%. And a lot of those 6-weight cattle were calves too. But the calves are dominating, and with each passing week, a larger percentage of these feeder cattle runs will be calves. The bad thing is a lot of them are unweaned and don't have enough vaccinations, and it's hard on them. And I tell you what, we are seeing these discounts, and they are so severe, so severe. I can't understand why people would have a product like that and not try to squeeze every dime they can out of them. And the days of just running some cows out there and then leaving the bull out all the time and just going and catching a handful of calves whenever you get a chance and bring them into the sale, weaning them on the way in the trailer. Those days, you can still do it if you want to, but you're not going to make any money at it. I mean, you can just do it just for the sake of doing it. But I tell you what, the days of being able to gain ground doing that are over, guys. You've got to manage your herds a lot more stringent than that. But we're seeing the calves take over. There's just fewer and fewer yearlings all the time. We are about to embark on October, which is Dead Calf Month. This is the first day here that I'm talking to you, the first full day of autumn or fall. And I tell you what, we've got these big wide temperature swings. It's hard on these calves. Your flies are sticky. The dust is bad in a lot of places. And it's bad. I mean, whenever you try to get, guys that are wanting to graze some of their wheat pasture or buy some of these calves that are worth the money, they buy some of these high-risk calves, get them in, and then they start thinking twice about it. Because I guarantee you, if you buy some high-risk calves and you don't stay right on top of them, if you're not watching them, if you're not hand-feeding them and watching them come to the feed so you can kind of see which ones you need to treat, you're in for a wreck. And there's nothing more depressing than being in the fall of the year and you've got a bigger sick pen than you do an out pen. And it has, it starts to affect your psyche. You're mad at everybody all the time. And I tell you what, that's one reason I went off to college and didn't hang around there. I tell you what, trying to straighten up a lot of high-risk calves is a dog's life, and I didn't enjoy it that much. I mean, once you get the cattle turned out, yeah, it's great. But I tell you what, you get to thinking that all of them are going to die sometimes. And I was talking with a guy on Monday. back in 30 years ago when we had a lot of different things that we gave them, and we'd mix up those Bloody Marys and stick those pump guns right in their round and fill it full of a big concoction of stuff. You know, you could still treat them after that. But now that they got these high dollar fix-all drugs, and you give them a little thimble full of it, and it costs you $20 or $30. The heck of it is, if that doesn't work, what do you do then? It's easier than it used to be. You know, we used to give them, give them shots of all kinds of different concoctions, cocktails, I guess, and put different colored marks on them and try to keep track of what they had. Now they got these magic drugs, and they do work pretty good, but when they don't work, then you're at the end of your rope because there's not much else you can do. But let's talk about the board on Monday. October live cattle futures down 65 cents at 106.70. December down $1.25 at 110.60. You're going out from there, and they were down 75 cents to down $1.07. So just like your stock market, just like your S&Ps, just like your grains, just like everything, live cattle was down hard. September feeder cattle were actually a little bit higher, 20 cents higher, and you think, well, why would they stay higher? Well, it's getting towards the end of September. We're right here in the contract month, running the spot month, and that price has to converge with your index levels. Kind of makes you wish that we had a spot month for all of your feeder cattle futures, doesn't it? At least you kind of know that it's going to have to come together, but our live cattle sure don't do that, especially when we're in a bastard month like we are with them. They can do anything between now and the middle of October. But September feeder cattle up 20 cents at 140.107. October was down 17 at 142.25. You going out from there, and they were mostly down from 92 cents to actually November feeder cattle were up 20. And that's kind of curious. Keep your eye on November, it showed some strength in the middle of a real hard down day. But your weighted average on last week's cash trade out of your 5-area feeding region, 89,800 head. We thought they might get a little bit closer to 100, but that's still bigger than we had the previous week, which was 69,700. And the same week a year ago was 81,200. But your live sales of steers and heifers range from 100 to 106. So $1 to $1.06. Not much at $1, not much at 106. It was mostly all from 103 to 104 and a lot of 103.5. In fact, your weighted average on live steers was 103.54, but it was on top of 103.5, which kind of surprised me too. It gives you an idea how much 104 we had on Friday, and your top prices were on Friday, guys. So that market was gaining ground, but that 103.54 weighted average on live steers was up $2.33. Look at your dress prices, and all these prices are $2 to $3 higher. 160 to 165 on dressed steers and heifers, mostly 163 to 165, but your weighted average on dressed steers was 163.25. Not as much of that trade towards the top of the price range, but that 163.25 was $2.59 higher than the weighted average on dressed steers the week before. Look at your nationwide cash trade was 106,000. That's pretty strong, and lets you know that the guys way out east and the guys way out west are trading some cash sales there. But 106,000 cash sales nationwide, that compares with 286,400 formulated sales. There was about 20,900, or about 20% of your cash sales were for the 15 to 30 day delivery, and that's kind of typical. So it doesn't look like, even though we may be going into a down market, that the packers are setting us up for that right now. But the negotiated grid that everybody thinks is savior, only 21,400 head of those, so that's not going to help anything. But let's talk about what else is going on. I mentioned it on our last visit, but Tuesday I'm going to be going out to Lone Star Stockyards. That's the new facility out west of Amarillo, Wildorado, Texas, right off I-40 there, for their grand reopening there with the new management and everything, and looking forward to going out there and seeing a lot of my old friends. Later this week and at the end of the week and on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, going to be at Heritage Place Auction Facility in Oklahoma City. They've got their fall yearling sale, and you guys say, oh great, yearlings, man, we're running out of yearlings. Where can we get in there and buy some of that? Well, it's a different deal, guys. This is their yearling quarter horse sale for racing prospects. This is for racing quarter horse prospects here, and this is a big deal, guys. This is where the guys from south of the border come up and they get involved in that. I may be talking to deaf ears, but some of you guys that need a tax write-off and are interested in horse racing, this is where you go to get them, guys. And this is the first time that they've had internet bidding, and they're going to do it with us here at dbauction.com. If you're just interested and you want to get on there and watch those horses sell, you can sure do that. But if you're interested in buying some of them, you got to register early. You've got to call in and get on there, and they're doing all that from the auction facility there at Heritage Place. But if you're around Oklahoma City this weekend, don't have much to do, come out to Heritage Place there and stop and visit with me for a little bit. Now on today here on Tuesday night, I'm going to be participating in a BI Boehringer Ingelheim Zoom conference. It's called the Cattle Industry Focusing on the Horizon. You can get on there. They're welcoming anybody that wants to participate. You can talk to your BI rep or search for it on the internet there. But going to be Brady Sidwell and myself going to be on there talking about kind of what's going on with the cattle industry, and it won't take too long, maybe an hour or so, but should be a pretty good Zoom conference there. That's going to start at 7:30 Central. Now let's talk about your feeder cattle. How about your real-time index on DB Auction late in the day on Monday, ending at 140.90. That was down 26 cents, even though most of your big feeder cattle sold pretty steady, but we're continuing to see more and more calves slip into those weights that make up the index, and they're going to pull them down. And just like it always does, your calves are going to weigh on your big feeder cattle market, and we don't have that many more yearlings to sell. Pretty soon, even on your big feeder cattle are going to be calves, and your feeders just don't want to give that much for those. But it never fails. At some point in October, supply is going to outweigh demand. Why is that? Because we don't have enough fall calvers. Everybody wants to spring calve, or actually they like to winter calve because they've moved it up so much that they want to have a bigger calf to sell in the fall. And I don't, for the most part, I don't think it's helping them out, guys. Guys would rather have something a little bit lighter. They'd rather have something that you keep longer and get it long time weaned. And I don't mean 30 or 45 days, I mean 60 days. How about Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards, 5,500 head there. The steers weighing over 8 and the heifers weighing over 7. Pretty much your yearling feeders were steady to $2 higher. Lighter weights, pretty much all your calves, $1 to $3 lower. And this is going to be the general trend as we work through the worst part of the fall here. Joplin Regional Stockyards, I mentioned that they had more calves and lighter weights than they did heavier, but 5,700 head there, mostly steady, except for 6-weight heifers, and they had a pretty good deal on them. They actually sold steady to $3 higher, but Rick Huffman did note, and I was talking to some other guys in southwest Missouri over the last few days, it's really dry in southwest Missouri, and they're spoiled there. I mean, they're used to getting timely rains and plentiful grass, but I tell you what, it's been dry down there. I actually talked to a guy that thinks he's going to have to start feeding hay or get rid of quite a few cattle here within the next few weeks, because it's really getting tough around there. Let's talk about some of your quotes from all over the region. How about Central Oregon Livestock Auction there at Madras, Oregon? That's Trent Stewart's sale barn there. They had their Customer Appreciation Day, and they're on dbauction.com. They broadcast there every sale day, but 2,200 head there. And what I thought was interesting, out in the northwest there, look at how well most of your weights are tested. all the way from 400 up to 900 pounds. A good test in all those weights, and pretty impressive market quotes, as you can see right there. But we hope that everybody had a good time at Customer Appreciation Day there at Madras, Oregon. How about some of your other quoted sales around? How about Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota? 63 head of calves weighed 550 at 171. That's about as high as they sell calves, weighing in the middle fives, guys. How about Tri-State Livestock Market all the way out in Abingdon, Virginia? 58 head, 862 pounds, 139.50 in Virginia, guys. How about the little market with the big prices? Sylvan Sales Commission, Sylvan Grove, Kansas, 71 head, 615 pound steers, bring $162. But the biggest quote that I saw anywhere on Monday come out of Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri, right smack dab in the center of Missouri there. Jack Harrison and Company, 50 head, 908 pound steers, bring $139.50. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.